I've looked at hundreds of mobile apps over the past few weeks to find the best ones to take photos and videos on your phone. I've searched online and even asked around to find some of the best mobile apps that I didn't even know existed. I've narrowed this down to the top 50 and I've been sharing about these on my social media channels, but today I want to show you the best photo and video apps that are worth downloading to get the best stuff right from your cell phone. I came across this photo app called Moods, and the first thing that really stuck out to me was the design of the app. Most photo and video apps look pretty decent, but this one looks especially nice. The photos that you take in the app look like they were taken on a film camera. There's all kinds of film simulations to choose from, and there's also the ability to customize them however you'd like. Think of the whole Fuji X100V recipe thing meets the iPhone. I noticed online there's even a community of people sharing their recipes to get different kinds of looks for your photos. The shooting interface is very clean and straightforward. I like that there's a lot of different options for focal lengths while shooting. I understand you're just cropping into the sensor to achieve these focal lengths, but I like framing up my subject while I'm shooting. There's also a neat option to turn off chimping while shooting. Chimping is looking at the photo that you took right after you took it, so you take the photo and you can't see what you actually shot until a couple of minutes later, similar to the film experience of waiting till your film is developed till you can see what you got. Because you can customize the film simulations, there is an unlimited amount of different options of how your photos are going to look, so you can spend a lot of time in this app and it's really fun to play around with. Oh, I also forgot to mention that when you're taking your photo in Moods, you actually can't see what your finished image is going to look like. You just see the composition, you see how it looks on the iPhone screen, but you got to wait until you take the photo to see how it's going to be processed. Unlike some of these other apps where I can see the preview live while I'm taking it. Lampa is another photo app that prides itself on keeping things simple and natural. The photos you get from this app are not going to look HDR, over-processed, or over-sharpened. They're going to look as natural as you can from an iPhone. When you open the app, there's only a few filters to choose from, and these filters are going to make your photos look film emulated. I think that might actually be a theme of the apps that I'm sharing about. The shooting interface of Lampa is pretty simple, and there's not a lot of options to choose from. Some of my favorite photos from Lampa have come from this graphite option, and I don't know what it is, it just looks really nice, it looks really monochromatic, the grain is fine, and the images look really natural. So if you're looking for a filter to start with, I recommend that one. Every time I've posted about Lampa online, it's gone viral. I don't know if it's the format of the video or if it's just a really great app, but I really enjoy it and I think it's one you should definitely check out. Nommo Cam may be the camera that I've used the most on my cell phone ever. Maybe even more than the stock camera app, actually, believe it or not. I don't know why I keep coming back to this app. Maybe it's because there's so many different options of cameras. Maybe it's because I like how the camera processes my photos. Whatever it is, I've actually made an entire YouTube video just about this app. There are so many different types of cameras within this app, and the cool thing is that they often get updated, which is a nice little surprise for somebody like me who's been using this for years. That being said, I do tend to stick to the same few cameras within the app because I like how they process my photos, and I'm just familiar with the interface. Right now, I'd say my favorite camera is the 135TC. I like how it processes the photos, I like that it's dark and moody, and I wish I could even make my photos that I edit on Lightroom look like these. All of the interfaces on all of these different cameras are fairly simple, but they're different, and some will give you different focal lengths, some will let you have flash, some let you manual focus the cameras, but there's something special to each of them. Most of the cameras in this app are not going to give you the largest field of view while you're framing up your shot, so there is going to be an element of imperfection. I suppose you could reframe and crop your photos afterwards if you wanted to get rid of this. Nommo, if you're watching, contact me. I am a massive fan of your app, and I continue to renew my subscription for Nommo each year. So far, all of the camera apps we've been talking about are camera apps, except for this one, which is an editing app. And I could probably make a whole video just about editing apps, but I really wanted to include this one because there's some really cool features in this app specifically. The app we're talking about is called Labet, and I actually haven't seen anybody else talking about this app. Labet is an editing app that, once again, makes your photos look like they were shot on film. The app has all kinds of presets and all of the dials that you would expect, like white balance and shadows and highlights and saturation and stuff. However, there's a couple other tabs that make this a very interesting editing app. So a couple of the options that I like under the effects tab are grain. I think the grain that this app adds is quite nice and quite natural. I'm not a grain expert, but to my eye, it looks nice. Next is film blur, and this slider makes it look like these photos were not taken on your cell phone. A couple other options to point out here are Vintage Glow. This, I don't know what it does, but it makes your photos look softer and not like they were taken on a phone. One of the coolest options is this motion blur tab. With this, you can make your photos look blurry and look like they were taken on a slower shutter speed. I always have trouble trying to shoot slower shutter speed photos, but if I can do it afterwards, it's worth playing with. I've been really happy with the way Labet treats the iPhone photos that I give it. These have been great for sharing on stories where they're not going to get blown up and people are kind of just quickly looking at them. The photos it gives you do not look like they've been shot on a cell phone. There are some limitations to the app. I don't think this is built for scale. It's not like Lightroom where you can batch process a bunch of images. There is the option to copy and paste previous edits, and this helps speed up the workflow, but if you're editing a whole set of photos, this app is not the quickest. However, if you're doing a couple one-off photos here and there, this is really awesome. Enough about photo, let's talk video apps. My most used video app on my cell phone is an app called Kino. When you open up this app for the first time, it looks really simple. However, there's a lot of pro features that are going on below the surface. So what Kino is doing is taking a ProRes log video on your cell phone, it's adding a conversion LUT, and then it's adding a creative LUT to give you a beautiful looking picture. You can do this in the native camera app, and it requires a bit of post-processing. However, Kino makes this whole process very simple and immediate. You literally just pick the LUT or filter that you want to use, you point it at your subject, and you hit go. All of these LUTs look incredible, and they're created by professionals. However, I do find I stick to the same few because I like how the colors are processed. The app is not perfect. Sometimes I find that the videos that I shoot on my phone look incredible, and then I put them on my computer, and they look like the blacks have been crushed a little bit, or I didn't quite nail the white balance. But overall, I've been extremely happy with this app. I've snuck so many of these videos into my YouTube videos before. I have no idea if you've noticed. Almost every time I show somebody a video that I've taken in Kino, they think it's taken on my higher end Sony camera. The app is not perfect. I find it can be glitchy. I find I need to force quit the app 1 in 10 times to make sure it's operating properly, but I'll take that for the videos that I get from this app. The start-stop button seems to be a little bit delayed, so I've needed to train myself to shoot a little bit longer than normal. I also wish that when I purchased this app, I wish that they sent me the LUTs so that I could have these on my computer to edit the ProRes log footage on my computer and have a little bit more control, or apply it to my Sony footage. Overall, really incredible app. You gotta check this one out. And last but definitely not least is a video editing app called LUT Studio. I guess you don't edit videos in it, it's more of a color correction app. The way it works is that you pop any type of video footage in it, whether that's iPhone footage, ProRes log ungraded footage, or even Osmo Pocket log footage, and with one tap, your footage looks awesome. There's a whole bunch of different looks and LUTs to choose from, maybe too many. However, once you find one, just stick with that one. A really helpful feature is that the app detects whether this is log footage or Rec 709 footage and treats it properly. I have a feeling this is a relatively new app with a really small team because there isn't a ton of reviews on the App Store. However, they're really active on social, and I can see that they're talking back to their customers and trying to improve the app to make it the best they can for the user. Right now, this app is not built for scale. If you're editing a ton of video clips, this app might be a little bit challenging because you can only edit one video clip at a time, and I haven't found a way to copy and paste edits from clip to clip. If you enjoy shooting in ProRes log on your iPhone to get the highest quality footage, but you aren't really into the editing process, you'll definitely want to check out LUT Studio. Can you hear these birds? Well, the joys of shooting outside. Let's try somewhere else. I've tried out so many different apps in the past couple weeks, and if you want to see the best 50, those are going to be over on my Instagram account. However, I do think that the apps that we talked about today are genuinely some of the best photo and video apps for your cell phone. I'm going to warn you right now, not all of these apps are free. Not everybody can create something incredible and just give it away. And realistically, the price of these apps is quite small in the whole scheme of things, especially for a tool that you're probably going to be using on the daily. I don't really know what else to say about these apps. Go download them, try them out. It's insane that we have this camera in our pocket all the time, and with a couple tweaks, our photos and videos can look absolutely incredible. My name's Davey, and it is really nice out, and I think I'm gonna go get a Slurpee. We'll see you in the next video.